This is the story of the three billy goats Gruff, an Old Norse folk tale. Once upon a time, there lived three billy goats named Gruff. They wanted to go up to the mountain to eat grass and get full. On their way to the mountain, they had to cross a bridge that was over a stream. And under the bridge lived a troll. He had eyes as big as plates and a nose as long as a broomstick. First of all came little Billy Goat Gruff, tip-trap, across the bridge, and he was not very heavy. The ugly troll poked his head up and roared, "Who's going trip-trap, over my bridge?" Little Billy Goat said, "It is I, little Billy Goat Gruff. I'm going to the mountain to eat grass and get full." "Oh, no, you're not," said the troll. "I'm going to gobble you up." "Please don't," said little Billy Goat. "I'm too little. Wait for my brother, second Billy Goat Gruff. He's much bigger than I am." "Very well," said the troll. "Be off with you." And away he went. Then came second Billy Goat Gruff to cross the bridge. He went trip-trap, across the bridge because he was medium-sized. The ugly troll poked his head up and said, "Who's that going trip-trap, across my bridge?" Second Billy Goat said, "It is I, second Billy Goat Gruff. I'm going to the mountain to eat grass and get full." "Oh, no, you're not," said the troll. "I'm going to gobble you up." "Please don't," said second Billy Goat Gruff. "Wait for my brother. He's much bigger than I am." "Very well," said the troll, "but be off with you." And away he went. Then came big Billy Goat Gruff, and he went trip-trap, across the bridge. The ugly troll went up and said, "Who's that going trip-trap, across my bridge?" "It is I," said big Billy Goat, "and I want to go across the bridge." "Oh, no, you're not," said the troll. "I'm going to gobble you up." Big Billy Goat Gruff said, "I'm not afraid of you. Come on up." And so the troll came up, and big Billy Goat Gruff put his horns right into the troll, sent him flying into the air, and he landed with a splash in the stream below. Then big Billy Goat Gruff and medium Billy Goat Gruff and little Billy Goat Gruff were able to go up to the mountain and eat lots and lots of food until they were full, and they lived happily ever after. I will be telling you a Yiddish folk tale that my grandmother used to tell me when I was a little girl. It's called "It Could Always Be Worse." This version is by Margot Zemek. The folk tale was originally told by Jewish people in a language called Yiddish. Yiddish is a language that was created a long, long time ago in Germany, and it was used by the Jewish people to speak to each other. In the Jewish community, a rabbi is someone who's very wise, usually a teacher that's trained also in the rules and laws and religion of the Jewish community. Before I tell you the story, I wanted to teach you one Yiddish phrase. Maybe you can help me when I say these words in the story. The words are oy vey, means "oh my gosh" in an annoyed, frustrated kind of way. Let's practice it once before I start the story. Oy vey. Good job. Once upon a time in a small village, a poor, unfortunate man lived with his mother, his wife, his 6 children in a little one-room hut. Because they were so crowded, the man and his wife argued, the children were noisy, they fought. In the winter, when the nights were long and cold, life was really hard. The hut was full of crying and quarreling. One day, when the poor, unfortunate man couldn't stand it any longer, he ran to the rabbi for advice. "Rabbi," he cried, "things are in such a bad way with me, and getting worse. We're so poor that my mother, my wife, my 6 children, and I all live together in one small hut. We are too crowded, and there's so much noise. Help me, Rabbi. I'll do whatever you say." The rabbi thought and pulled on his beard, and at last he said, "Tell me, my poor man, do you have any animals? Perhaps a chicken or 2? "Yes," said the man. "I do have a few chickens, and also a rooster and a goose." "Ah, fine," said the rabbi. "Go home and take the chickens and the rooster and the goose into your hut to live with you." "Yes, sir, Rabbi," said the man, who was a bit surprised. The poor unfortunate man hurried home, took the chickens, the rooster, and the goose out of the shed and into his little hut. When some days or a week had gone by, life in the hut was worse than before. Now, with the quarreling and the crying, there was honking and crowing and clucking. The feathers were in the soup and everywhere. The hut was just as small, and the children were getting bigger, and he couldn't stand it any longer. He ran again to the rabbi for help. "Oy vey, Rabbi," he said. "What misfortune has been following me? Now with the crying and the quarreling and the honking and the clucking and the crowing, there are feathers in the soup. It couldn't be worse. Help me, please." The rabbi listened and thought, and at last he said, "Tell me, do you happen to have a goat?" "Oh, yes, I do have a goat, but he's pretty old and not worth very much." "Excellent," said the rabbi. "Now go home and take the goat into the hut with you." "Oy vey, Rabbi, do you really mean it?" "Oh, come now, my good man," said the rabbi. "Do as I say at once." The poor, unfortunate man tramped back home with his head hanging down, and he went and brought the goat into his hut. Well, when some days or a week had gone by, life in the hut was much worse. Now, with the crying, the quarreling, the clucking, the honking, the crowing, the goat went wild, pushing and butting everyone with his horns. The hut seemed smaller still, and the children were growing bigger. And the poor unfortunate man couldn't stand it anymore. He ran back to the rabbi. "Oy vey, Rabbi, help me," he screamed. "The goat is running wild. My life is a nightmare." The rabbi listened and thought. At last he said, "Tell me, my poor man, do you have a cow?" "Young or old, doesn't matter. Do you have a cow?" And the man said, "Yeah, I do have a cow," a little bit fearfully. "Go home then," said the rabbi, "and take that cow into your hut with you." "Oy vey, surely not," said the man. "Do it at once," said the rabbi. The poor unfortunate man trudged home with a heavy heart, took the cow into his hut. He thought, "Is the rabbi crazy?" Well, when some days or a week had gone by, life in the hut was very much worse than before. Everyone quarreled, even the chickens. The goat ran wild, the cow trampled everything. The poor man could hardly breathe. So at last he ran to the rabbi for help. "Oy vey, holy rabbi, help me, save me from the end of the world, for it has surely come. This is worse than a nightmare in my hut." The rabbi listened and thought. At last he said, "Go home and let out the animals out of your hut. You mean it? I will, said the man. And the man hurried home, and he let out the cow, the goat, the chickens, the geese, the rooster, all of them out of the hut. That night, the man and his family all slept peacefully. There was no crowing, no clucking, no honking. There was plenty of room to breathe. So the very next day, the man ran back to the rabbi. Rabbi, he cried, you have made my life sweet again. With just my family in the hut, it is so peaceful and quiet. We have so much room. I just wanted to thank you.